probably be going out gray. I don't know why yet.
My face breaks the camera.
You upgrade OBS, and it's like, fuck your stream. Yeah, we're going out gray.
All right.
Let me start a local recording.
That should be like the next Old Man Heist movie title, Going Out Gray.
Yeah.
Space Cowboys 2. Alright, we're live.
Alrighty, I'm recording. Stuff is falling. From the industrial wastelands of Michigan to the fruited plains of Iowa, this is the American
They do it share perversity.
You are the dead. Remain exactly where you are. Make no move until you are ordered.
We burn them to ashes and then burn the ashes. That's our official motto.
Now we can see you. Clasp your hands behind your heads. Stand out in the middle of the room. Stand back to back.
Who can explain the fascination of fire? What draws us to it, whether we're young or old?
Here comes a candle to light you to bed. Here comes a chopper to chop up your head.
And welcome to the American Greed Factory podcast. This is Nathan.
This is Conlon.
Andrew?
We're all here, all three of us on this Memorial Day weekend. Just to date the show exactly where it is, even though it'll come out like 2 weeks from now. But you can watch
live
us
in gray on YouTube.
Watch us in gray on YouTube. Yeah, here we are. Another week. Back to work this week. So I get to work another week. And I filed for my unemployment, and then I get this like pamphlet in the mail about finding a new job. Even though when I filed my unemployment online, it clearly said temporary separation, will return to work on. But it's like, now I'm supposed to go down to Michigan Works and look for a new job. Okay, I'm glad we're wasting money and time like this. But yeah, so back to work, and it was wonderful. Getting steadily hotter and more miserable. I know summer's about to start. Gets up to 90 degrees and just hovers there.
Oh, did they fix the air conditioner in your...
Oh no, it's a corporate expenditure. It's gonna be like next year before they fix the air conditioner. $500,000 is not an easy ask.
No, does your roof system go bad?
Yeah, it sounds like it. Nobody really is given the. It just sounds like pretty much the whole unit that governs it is pretty much shit or something. So.
Yeah.
But everything's pretty much from the 50s or 60s in that place. So I can't imagine why they wonder why things break down all the time.
We had a garage door break at work today, and they had it fixed like in like 6 hours.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I remember when the garage door broke on the cart garage. Like, it would take them like a week to fix it.
Because that doesn't impede their flow of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you impede the flow of money, it'll get fixed right away.
Well, it was the door that you let the vendors in, so apparently that would piss people off. So.
Yeah, we had there are at most plants I've worked at, there are no attempts to air condition, but some places where it's critical to the whatever components they're assembling, that it be a low humidity room, they'll have like insanely powerful units that could keep the room at like meat locker temperatures, and it's 100 degrees outside. But I've seen it in the last 15 years. I've seen them try to, like, it'll fail and they'll try to skimp on it, and then they'll like blow up computers and really expensive robotics and things, and because they're running them when it's like, yeah, this can't run if it's above 70 degrees, or it can't run in 100% humidity. Oh, fuck them, just run it. And then the thing explodes, and it costs more to fix the machine than it does to replace the HVAC. So that's always, I love those decisions, but yet everyone still has their job at the end of it. Like, that was your decision? Yes. All right, well, have you learned from this? Yes, I have. Okay, well, then we'll replace $5 million worth of stuff needlessly because you're an idiot. But yeah.
Well, I've been noticing at work that like a lot of our product in our have these open coolers, and they're freezers too, and like they're getting kind of sweaty at the top. I was like,
yeah.
What the fuck's going on? Is the unit dying? And it's like, no, not really. And then I realized, like, oh, like they're not like cooling the they're not like turning on the air conditioning for the whole store as much. Like they're keeping that down, and right above where it's getting sweaty are windows.
Right.
And so the way thermodynamics works is heat always goes to the coldest source. So it's going all directly to the freezers.
And nobody at Walmart understands that, huh?
No.
That surprises me. Or at least the people running the, I mean, it doesn't surprise me though, but I mean, the people running the place are like, yeah, this will save us money. Just turn it down. It's like, yeah, there's no downstream consequences to that, right?
As much as all those doors open and close all the time, you think you'd want the AC pumping all the time anyway.
Well, no, it's not for the ones. It's for the ones that are like open on top, the bunkers. That's the ones where they're getting kind of sweaty. But they fixed it, so I guess it's good. So
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Your correct response should have been they're working very hard making their everyday low prices or something like that. Like, are they fixing it? No, they're too busy.
The less they fix it, the better prices you get on your food.
Yeah. Now, if your meat's at room temperature and has been for 3 weeks, well, you know, you take the good with the bad. So, what about The Expanse? You wanted to explain that to us?
Yes, well, that's it. I don't know where we left off in what episode, but yeah, because we're talking about like all the shows that got canceled.
Yeah.
And then Brooklyn Nine-Nine got canceled and immediately picked up. Last Man Standing's been canceled for a year, but Roseanne was a success, so they're just bringing that back. Lucifer, like almost. I think they're getting an extra 2 episodes to end the series or something.
I just watched the last 5 minutes of or like the last episode of that because I'm like, I've never watched this show. If somebody said it was good, so I watched it. And then at the end, it was like executive producer Jerry Bruckheimer. Like that explains everything.
Right. Okay.
Like it's really bad.
Because there's a Save the Lucifer show too, which that's a great Save Lucifer.
Don't save Lucifer. The worst CGI I've ever seen in television and horrible.
And you've seen 10 seasons of fuck, why did I just forget the name? The 2 brothers. You know, they solve crime and shit, or not crime, but like ghost stories and shit.
Oh.
Sam and Dean.
Never seen it.
Yes, you have. Supernatural.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I thought the name of the show was Sam and Dean. I'm like, I've never fucking seen that show.
No, I'm saying that was the 2 guys.
No, I've only seen the first 2 seasons of that show.
Oh, I thought you said no. I've seen them all. Okay.
No. After the first 2 seasons, the idea of recycling was really bad at that point still. So I can't believe they still have another 8 seasons to go after that.
Oh yeah, they're like in their 13th season. I think it's the longest running sci-fi show. Like I think it beat out Stargate SG-1 at some point.
Oh wow, really?
It's kind of sad, but good at the same. Like I don't know.
Well, like Stargate SG-1 had a weird second life to it that I don't think they expected. Because usually shows end after like 7 seasons, because that's how TV contracts work. It's like you sign a 7-year contract.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, it's usually like shows end after 7 seasons, or if they go beyond that, then they usually have a recast and stuff like that. Because nobody wants to do 14 fucking seasons of a show, unless you're who's the guy that plays Detective Monk? Or no, not Monk. Is it? Oh shit, what's his name? No, it's not. No, he was in Homicide: Life on the Street, and now he's on Law and Order SVU, and he did an episode of the X-Files, and he's been playing the same character for like 25 years.
Well,
I can't remember his name. He's a comedian. He plays the
the conspiracy theory guy.
yeah.
He wrote a cool book years ago. What's his name? I can't remember his name, but yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Isn't the guy that wears like sunglasses?
Yes.
And tall?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Flies with his dog everywhere. The original guy that did that, the original therapy dog guy, he was way ahead of the curve on that one. Can't think of his name though. But anyway, yeah.
So anyways, yeah. So then The Expanse got canceled as well. And it's a show that we really like and a book series that we really like. So we're kind of bummed because like they're getting to my favorite book in the series, and it's like it's about to get canceled, and it's like, well, fuck. So it's like, why did it get canceled? Because if you look at Rotten Tomatoes, I think it has like 100% rating for this season so far. And it's like, okay, well, it just might not be getting ratings, which is true. last week they tried to attempt because they're trying to sell this to either Amazon or Netflix, but apparently someone said that Netflix kind of had like they already said no.
Yeah.
But like Netflix, they have the international rights to The Expanse because it's not broadcast in other countries except through Netflix.
Right.
And they throw the little like Netflix banner on it, so people think the show is produced by Netflix in other countries.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those weird licensing things.
Yeah, that's why you see all those like Netflix original shows. Like when you go through your Netflix queue, it's like, what the fuck is this? And it's like some British co-production or some Swedish co-production or some Norwegian co-production or some Venezuela co-production.
Just goes on and on and on.
I still haven't figured out what that Rain series, what country that's from, because that's all dubbed pretty horribly.
Norwegian, I think.
Yeah, I want to say it's, but I don't know.
I think I could be wrong on that.
Is that dubbed or just poor English? No, it's dubbed,
No,
right?
it's dubbed.
Okay.
I wish they just would have done subtitles. I would prefer that over shitty dubbing.
I think they like read some data somewhere and they decided to dub that to see what happens. Because I think if there's subtitles and less people watch, and they're trying to see if
It made me not want to watch the show.
I don't know. There's that German show. Was it called like Dark or something like that? That like got like picked up for a second season already. So apparently people like that enough.
Yeah, I've heard about that. The one guy, the guy who wrote the Annihilation, always raves about it on his Facebook.
So and then so they boosted. So they had like this thing of like, all right, everybody watch the Sci-Fi Channel so we can boost the ratings. So like either Sci-Fi will pick it up again, or someone else was like see like an improvement and pick it up. So they boost the ratings to like 600,000 viewers, which I guess is that was the highest it's been since the first season.
Huh.
Which doesn't seem like that seems like nobody essentially.
Nobody has cable anymore.
But really the thing that really why Sci-Fi was canceling, and there's like reasons, there's legitimate reasons why Sci-Fi would cancel it.
Mm-hmm.
Because so they have these other shows, like I think Killjoy is one of them, which like costs almost nothing and it gets the same amount of viewers.
Right.
But
okay.
But here's another thing, is that Sci-Fi doesn't pay for the show's production. Alcon Entertainment, the people that own the rights to The Expanse, they produce and pay for the show, and Sci-Fi just shows it on television.
Oh, so they're just a distributor for it. Yeah.
But Sci-Fi doesn't see any of the like streaming views and stuff like that. They don't get any of that like money or whatever from that, because I believe that's how Alcon pays for the show.
Okay.
So that's why Sci-Fi canceled it, because for them it didn't make sense to keep it on.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a big they had a change.org petition, and like 135,000 people signed it. They flew a plane over Amazon headquarters that said "Save the Expanse." Did a bunch of Twitter storm stuff, because right now they still have the sets up. And that was there's kind of a time limit to this. Is like at some point they're just gonna have to tear the sets down or sell it off. Like the Star Trek production was like looking to like buy some of their sets.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because if they don't have to like rebuild all their sets, then we can go into season 4 fairly soon.
Yeah.
Like nothing ever happened. So because Alcon basically does everything, yeah, it's pretty much they don't have to worry about it then. But yeah, eventually Jeff Bezos made the announcement at like some sort of international space convention thing.
Yeah.
And he said that they will be picking up The Expanse for season 4.
Which is good. I'm glad that happened. Always enjoyed those books. The TV series was good.
Well, if they keep going to the thing, you'll get like the second half of Abaddon's Gate, and then unfortunately you'll be getting the first half of Cibola Burn, which is probably the weakest book. Not an unimportant book, but still the weakest book of the series.
Yeah, there's a lot of necessary footwork in that book.
Because that's where everything gets kind of like brought back down to like, because everything was getting so large and big and like spreading now galaxies and shit. It's like, let's bring it back down to ground. or
Yeah,
Earth,
to a
whatever.
planet.
And then like kind of do a western with the Expanse, and then you have a lot of the weird Ghost Miller stuff,
Yeah.
which gets even weirder. But that becomes important as a quasi explanation of what the fuck is going on,
There's never really been an explanation.
and a harbinger of doom kind of message.
Yeah, well, that's what I like those books, is Doom is always around the corner.
uh, but I can see them kind of maybe because the series follows all these characters, and they don't, because the books they'll bring characters back in, or they'll be missing for a couple of books, but with the series they can always like cut around to Avasarala and see what she's doing, so they can kind of probably make that book better as a TV show.
Yeah.
but
Yeah, that book got bizarre after a while. I was like, what? How many more questions can you ask? A lot.
Well, and then there's also like kind of the boring space. There's no big space battles, and the one they do have is like it's between the like a skeleton crew Rocinante and like that security ship,
Yeah.
and that's not really wasn't really that exciting. I can't even remember the stuff that happens. It's just like
I think somebody goes out in a spacesuit and sabotages another ship, or it's very, very gap cycle-y. Like, well, this is possible.
So yeah, we'll be getting the Expanse season 4, and then they just started. Last week they just started on Abaddon's Gate.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna have to catch up on the Expanse. I've got them all loaded, but I've been I don't know. I'm doing a lot of stuff.
well, when they had that like ratings boost, that was probably like one of the best episodes of the season. So they did it at just the right time. I think there's a bunch of comments on like the Reddit board and stuff like that where a bunch of people are like, I don't know what the fuck this is, but you people seem to like it, so here you go.
Yeah, I've never seen this before. Don't know anything about it. And
Well, there's a bunch of articles that was like, now it's the best time to jump into the Expanse because like they're basically starting a new book. So,
yeah,
I mean, like they're starting a new story, so why it would be helpful to know who the characters are, I guess it is all the plot lines are new.
yeah. To me, I always watch this show with because I remember all the books, and so I watch the show and kind of look for the subtle differences and stuff. But it would be kind of weird just to jump into the Expanse. I think, like, wait a minute, you got to do some background here.
Well, I remember like I think the Rotten Tomatoes rating for season 1 is like 74%. And I was like, why is that so low? And then I remember like they do a lot of kind of like they just have characters show up, they tell their name, and then like they do small things, and then like they disappear. And like for a fan of the books, like you know who that person is like and what this whole thing means. And for anybody who doesn't know, it'd probably just be. But you saw the first season. You never watched any. You never read any of the books, and you really liked it, right?
Yeah, it takes like a couple episodes to really get hooked to it, though. So that's probably why also the negative review, or at least the more negative reviews in these other seasons, is because it just slow burn.
Yeah.
It's not really, because I think everybody's more like any kind of space sci-fi like opera stuff like Farscape or Star Trek or Battlestar Galactica. Like, especially now with Star Trek, it's all action-oriented. Everything has to be action all the time. And people don't like stories, apparently, as much anymore or something. I don't know why. But, I mean, that first season was wonderful, and I've been wanting... I keep forgetting to look and see if second season is available to buy on Blu-ray, because I think it is.
Well, do you have Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
Okay, I think the second season's streaming.
It's finally up, because it wasn't up like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I thought it was. Because they're putting a thing out there where it's like they're trying to get people to binge watch the first 2 seasons to get ready for the new episode. So I think it's there, but
So I probably checked like
maybe
2 or
not.
3 weeks ago and it wasn't up yet still, because I was like, come on, I thought the third season was on by now, so why is this not up? I just figured it was like every streaming service doesn't actually have the rights to it until it's like the last season that aired or whatever, basically.
yeah, because that's the way the Amazon had the streaming rights, but not till
The
like
next season's up.
yeah, so like a year or whatever.
Well, yeah, just like Walking Dead and Netflix and about every other.
I don't know. I'm kind of patiently waiting for Nathan to confirm. I don't know if he's looking for it or not.
For what?
Amazon Prime, if it's streaming
Season 2 or not.
season 2 of The Expanse.
Oh, I didn't know we were waiting for that. Hold on.
So I was looking the other week to see if Happy was picked up or not by Sci-Fi, but I don't know if it was.
I think it'll get a second
It
season.
ended after like 8 or 9 episodes, so I didn't know if that was a good or a bad thing.
Well, it's just usually when they do like a low count episodes, it just means that they're putting more budget into a smaller amount of episodes. So
Because I'm meaning to buy it on Amazon because I know it's not going to be on streaming service anytime in the near future.
See,
Or
season 1 and season 2 are on Prime.
Okay, cool. So now along with the second season of Sneaky Pete that I still haven't seen yet, and then the last episode of season 3 of Rick and Morty that I need to watch, and then a bunch of other shit.
you got plenty of Rick and Morty ahead. So
Well, the 4th season's not out yet. It's not going to be out for like another couple of years.
no, didn't you hear they get picked
Yeah,
up? for-
70 episodes.
Okay.
Which will come out slowly but surely over the course of the next decade.
Oh yeah, it's like 7 years.
Yeah, so
Well, not
it's-
7 years of Rick and Morty.
Unless they up the episode count, but I don't see them doing
No,
that.
they usually don't do that. I mean, fucking Venture Brothers is technically still in production, even though they haven't had a season for like 3.5 years. But they've done that. They've had 3.5 year season breaks.
You think I mean, yes, there's people that are diehard fans that'll come back for it, but you think that would be a decline in fan base if you really wait that long a lot of the time?
Well, I think that they have some kind of weird deal with, the people who run Adult Swim that like, hey, when you want to make a season and we want to figure out how to pay for it, like, we're good. Like, we can do that.
We're ready when you are.
Because some of the other shows that have been picked up is, I didn't know Gotham is, like, if it does get picked up, which sounds like it will, it's going to be its last season next year.
Okay.
Because apparently that story arc is ending, and I'm like, oh, I felt like that show just came on, but I guess it is like 4 or 5 years old now.
Isn't there some, like, young Batman show in production or some shit like that?
I don't know about that. All I know is that it's supposedly going to wrap up with, like, the Joker finally becoming who he is, and Batman finally becoming who he is, and...
Have they jumped time? Because isn't he like an 8-year-old kid?
No, he's like a teenager now.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, the guy that plays the Joker is, like, the gay brother from Shameless. But they don't let
Okay.
him be called the Joker or anything else. They don't let him use, like, face paint or anything like that. He just looks menacing, I guess. I don't know. I've just seen shots of it. It's like, why? I've never understood that show because it's like the best part about Batman is the fact that Batman's in it. Not the fact that, like...
I mean, that's why it's called Gotham.
Well, I know, but at the same time, it's like, who wants to see why Gotham became the way it is? That's this. I mean, yes, it's an interesting fictional history lesson, maybe, but at the same time, it's like I don't watch the Civil War documentary and be like, what, and then like get really amped up like what caused the Civil War and like dive into that for 6 hours. Like the short answer is slavery. Like you can say whatever you want. The short answer is slavery. Like it's just like the short answer to why there's so many villains in Gotham. Crime. It doesn't need a lot of explanation. It doesn't need a backstory.
I only saw, I think maybe either just the first season or maybe some of the second season. But I thought the stuff with the Penguin was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. But I think my wife watched like the first season. She didn't really care for it, and then after that, like she's been watching more of the comic book TV shows because she'll give it a chance. But I just absolutely adore comic book TV shows because usually they're the shittiest end of the medium, and I hate poor production quality on shit like that. So I tend not to watch them.
I mean, Arrow was alright. I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably bad now. The last time I knew, the last 2 seasons were pretty bad, so I just haven't dropped in.
It's just
And
something
then
where
I've stopped watching The Flash and what's the Legends of Tomorrow? Yeah. That's
Yeah.
and and on Sci-Fi they have a new Krypton show, which everything I see just kind of looks stupid, but
well, the fact that like the CW does most of the shit too is what really makes me hate it. Or that and CBS. I think they're pretty much owned by the same company, aren't they?
no,
Okay.
because I'm pretty
CBS. Shit.
degradation of humanity. Like, how does a zombie plague end? Like, does it just everybody dies and then it's just a planet full of walking zombies? Is that the full like history of a zombie infestation? Like, how does that end? So again, so for like a Last Man on Earth story, like again, like obviously, I mean that has to end with just the guy dying. But here we got some more people. It's like, how does a world that is almost like 99% dead what happens to that world, and that's what was like interesting and super funny about Last Man on Earth is like they get to go near those questions. So, but
No, I know, and I like the fact that his like brother came back again for like the last couple episodes and like
okay.
kind of went off again, and I'm like, God, this is getting good again and shit like that, and it's like getting interesting because they never just like fucking get bogged down in anything. They never stay in one location more than like half a season.
Yeah.
And they never really deal with the same situation over and over again. And it's like they always have interesting guest stars that last for more than 1 or 2 episodes. So it's always something. And it's always...
You know, if you this is kind of a spoiler, but if you're a big enough star and you're on that show, you know you're gonna be dead almost instantly without even saying a word.
Yeah, because it's surprising. Like Jack Black's character just like fucking
Will Ferrell.
Yeah, Will Ferrell. Anybody that's like makes enough money for them not to be on screen for more than 5 seconds, not get paid shit, not be on set more than 1 day, and just get paid the industrial minimum. That's pretty much for the likeness of that show. But it's sad because that was another good show that God damn, what's her name? She does like the voice of Tina and Bob's Burgers and stuff like that.
Is it Karen Shaw?
Yeah. Like I like I've watched a couple episodes of the Patton Oswalt thing where it's like the something holler or something like that.
Oh, the Heart She Holler?
Yeah.
That's a fucking weird
That's a weird fucking show, but really fucking weird, cool at the same time. Because like, especially the first episode where it's like you keep finding VHS tapes like inside dead bodies, inside walls. It's like, watch this tape, son. It's like
That's a super weird show.
Well, if you like that, have you seen 13 Reasons Why?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Nobody needs to see that show, but it's vaguely interesting for its premise, and it doesn't deserve any of the thing it pulls. It doesn't really pull it off at all. And somehow there was a second season, which makes no fucking sense. Because, okay, I'll tell you, do you know the premise of 13 Reasons Why?
No.
Girl kills herself, leaves tapes around to explain why she killed herself.
Oh, okay.
Is there 13 episodes in the first season?
Yes.
Okay.
Every episode is a different person and a reason as to why she killed herself.
See, I thought that was like a new season for that. I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be a one-off.
No, there's a second season. Well, there's a point where one of the characters says there's another set of tapes. I'm like, fuck you.
And the second season of the show is called 26 Reasons.
It's just another season of 24.
It's just her, like.
How's she gonna kill herself again?
Double suicide.
See, this is why, I mean, Netflix I thought had more integrity than that sometimes, but then it's still based on.
No, I remember when it came out, it was huge, so I imagine they just like, hey,
find any excuse to keep it going.
yeah, because I imagine like they've said that line specifically, like there's another set of tapes, but then they kind of just like go away from that, like nobody ever questions it since. And it's like, but if it's successful enough, it's like we'll do a season 2. But yeah,
it's
because like, I remember in one of my German classes, because it's all young kids, like I watched it and I was like, there's kind of something to this, but mostly this sucks. And then like they were like raving about it. I was like, oh my god, did you see that? And then some girl was like, I think it glorifies suicide. I'm like, really?
Doesn't seem very happy.
certain shows, like I hope Lost in Space doesn't get picked up because that show's bad.
Oh, you didn't like it?
No, I stopped watching like after 2 episodes or
Oh.
2.5 episodes. I just found it boring and mundane.
Alright.
So
I really liked it, but
yeah. I like some of the things they did, changing up some characters and shit like that, seemingly. But other than that, like
I just felt it was just, it was easily digestible. But I guess if you were bored,
Now, is that officially a kid's show?
I felt like it was just a family show.
Yeah, that's kind of what the vibe I got too. Is it's like they're not exactly going full crazy on this.
Yeah, but they are very just it's very Lost-ish. So
Yeah.
where it's like you kind of have the backstory that you cut back to and like explain different characters. And there's several characters I just liked, so I guess that's maybe why I kept with it.
No,
The only thing I don't like the people that don't seem to like it, they kind of latch on to the Dr. Smith character, who I think I like her performance, but her character makes no sense.
Oh, okay.
Especially in how like no, she's blatantly acting evil. Why is no one suspicious of her?
She seems unreasonably sinister.
See,
When no one's really wanting that or
I
noticing that.
So I like her character just fine. I don't dislike the show because of that. I just dislike the show because I hate that whiny little fucking Will kid. Like, I think he should have died in the first episode of that fucking show because he is just useless. Like, I mean, I'm sure, like, during the whole season, he finally grows a backbone and finally, I don't know.
Yeah, it's called the fucking robot. Robot, do this.
I know, but at the same time, it's like, yes, what do you expect? Like, what is he, like, 9 or 10 in the show, or maybe old?
Something like that, yeah.
Like, I mean, realistically, I guess, what do you expect a kid like that to do? But then you see his slightly older sisters, and they're both, like, fucking doctors and engineers and fucking do all this amazing shit all the time, and he can't even, like, and something's looking at me kind of menacingly. I'll bitch about it.
Well, I guess I'll just spoil stuff for you. So, like, there's a set of tests that, like, are supposed to, like, whether you can go to the Alpha Centauri or not.
Yeah, he failed.
Yeah, he failed, and then she just passed it for him.
Yeah.
So, like, and, like, he learns about that. So, like, so basically, like, for him, it's like a redemption story. Like, he was never supposed to be here. He has to prove his worth. Which I can't really necessarily sure if he, like, his worth is that he has a robot. And he ends up solving problems because he does know a bunch of science shit, and he does, like, that does help out, especially, like, because there's times where, like, the mom's away, and she usually kind of does all the science work because she's, like, a fucking doctorate in, like, mechanical engineering or something like that. I don't know, like, one of the, like, I don't know, like, pivotal, I don't know, scenes that I really liked where it was, like, a bunch of problem solving is, I forget, they're running on one of those fucking moon buggy things. And they get stuck in, like, a tar pit. And then, like, they just, like, it keeps sinking, and they eventually hit the bottom, and they have to try to figure out how the fuck, and they're trying, for some reason the radio doesn't work. So they spend all this time trying to get the radio to work. And it doesn't, and, it doesn't work. It's like, and then the husband's like, well, I guess I'm just gonna kill myself so you have enough air to survive this and figure this out. But, like, recently, like, before that, she had, like, a helium balloon because she, like, got up in a balloon to try to, like, figure things out because she's, like, something's weird with this planet. And I think they found out, what was it, like, there's, like, 2 suns or something like that. Eventually the planet's going to be destroyed by some weird anomaly.
I think so.
So they have that helium balloon, like, in the thing. And so they ignite, like, the helium, like inside the cab, and, like, it kind of pushes away the tar, and they, like, crawl through the helium balloon, end up getting out of it, like, cut their way out, and, like, and then, like, they're like, exasperated as they're, like, lucky to be alive, and they're laying there, and they're also, like, as they're, like, kind of, like, breathing and yelling and laughing that they're still alive, they have the helium in their lungs, and so it's, like, the loud, high-pitched voices and stuff like that. It's like, I thought that was a really great scene.
Oh, there's good, for the first, like, mostly 3 episodes I watched, there was good scenes, and there was stuff to draw you in. I just didn't, it seems like the most useless characters are literally the dad and Will. Like, all the women have, like, all the important roles, all the important decision-making stuff handled, it seems like. I mean, it's just like the oldest sister that obviously isn't a product of that marriage. is the one that, like, dives in, like, quit being fucking pussies, and dives in and tries to grab shit and gets frozen, and, like, all Will does is tag along with his dad and fucking fall down a goddamn hole, not follow instructions to stay where he's at, and wanders off and almost gets killed. And then his dad just, like, keeps doing everything wrong and pissing off his semi-conscious mother half the fucking time. And it's just, like, it just becomes another, like, this is just making this woman that's playing his mom out to be a complete fucking bitch. Like, I've always that one show I've always hated for that. It was, like, Breaking Bad, because, like, Skylar always seemed like a complete fucking bitch from the word go in that show, and that's the only thing I ever hated about that show. But it just ruined the show eventually for me because it's just like, oh god, now she's on screen. What is she gonna bitch about? How's she gonna make this miserable?
No, I like the mother character. I can't remember their names, but Because like usually she's the one who has to solve all the problems because she's like literally the smartest person there. But yeah, I thought there was some. There's the one guy who's just like the technician from the. I want to say his name's Mark or something like that. I like his character, especially like they reveal that like he's not going to Alpha Centauri. He's just on that fucking ship for the rest of his life, or he can hop off on Earth, and we still don't know like how fucked Earth is. We just know it's fucked. It's like that's just a dying planet for humanity.
It's so fucked a rich person will leave their car, home, and everything they own to their fugitive sister that will then tie them up in a house. And then I'm assuming she dies of starvation because everybody was thinking she's going to the fucking planet or whatever. So why the hell would anybody go to her house to check anything out? So she's going to remain tied up there in her hallway until she dies.
Shit, what was I talking about?
Something about Lost in Space.
Yeah, I was like heading towards some point. Oh yeah, I remember that it looked like they're gonna put like the older sister and Mark like together as a couple, and I was like, she's way too young. 'Cause, in the show they say she's 19, she looks like she's 14, but actually she's 24. So I guess it's cool.
Works.
She's actually 24. She's
Yeah.
really fucking young looking.
Yeah.
Like, I knew she was supposed to be, like, over 18 in the show because the way they talk about her, where
Yeah.
they phrase it, but at the same time, it's like, she does not look 18.
No.
But I'm sure she'll be playing it.
Definitely doesn't look 24.
I'm sure that she's, like, a former gymnast or something that
I
would
don't know.
preclude, like, being young and tiny looking.
I don't know. Maybe. She's Canadian, I think.
Probably.
All that maple syrup keeps you young,
Yeah.
eh?
Played some weird games.
What's that?
I played a game called Echo.
Never heard of that. What's it about?
It's really hard to describe the plot of that. It's pretty convoluted and slightly interesting. So imagine if you will, a universe. So imagine it's like so far in the future and technology is so advanced that humans don't need to know how technology works anymore, and technology is basically magic.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've seen things like that before. I kind of live in that world, actually.
So this woman who, what's her name? Is N, and is they delve out like the backstory like really slowly, so it's really hard to pick up on what the fuck's going on. But you are the product of some, billionaire or however trillionaire, however big it gets in that age, and you're meant to like solve a puzzle. And that puzzle is an entire planet.
Okay.
So you go there, and this entire planet, which is fully constructed, like the entire planet has been like taken over by constructed whatever. It's been reconstructed by whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like basically not even a planet anymore. And then like you go inside of it, and then it's just like a palace. It's just a giant palace with all these different like airlocks that go into different rooms, but it's just a giant palace. And this is supposedly like for rich people, this is like their immortality kind of test thing.
Okay.
So you go there, and then you have some weird cube, which is supposedly the essence or soul or memories of some other guy who you had to put on some sort of table that then turns his entire essence and memory into a cube for some reason.
Okay, yeah, that's a good shape for your soul.
Yeah. And then so she's taken out there to try to like bring him back to life. But when you wake up the facility, because it seems to have been dormant for like thousands of years. Also, like you spent like 100 years flying on a spaceship to get there, so she was in hibernation. So the AI that she talks to called London, the AI keeps reminding her that everybody she knows is dead.
It's always nice.
So as the place like comes back to life, it starts to make copies of you. And then like every copy of you just wants to like find you and kill you or do something to you. You never really.
Okay.
They'll like grab onto you, and then like it'll zoom in on your eye, and then like it'll like restart the game. It's like, what are they doing? I don't know. So, the way the game works is that you kind of have these time sections. There'll be like a rumble in the controller when like the lights are about to go out, and the lights will go out, and then like everything will reset. And so, when everything resets, everything that you've done, like say like just walking or even running, your clones or whatever will learn to do that.
Okay.
So you have to like kind of like all right, I'm not gonna run anywhere, so that I have an option to run at some point. So like, and then when the lights go out, you can do anything, and the machines won't learn what you're doing when the lights go out.
Right.
Can you cut it?
What's wrong?
Mom's 15 minutes away.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. What's going on?
I didn't know it either. But I really want to pull things up a little bit.
All right, guys. I'm sorry. I gotta go. Do you want to keep? You want
Sure.
to keep in
We'll
this
keep talking to
locally?
Andrew. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. I had no idea.
Right.
All right. I'll be in touch.
All right.
Right.
See ya.
Okay. Talk to you then.
Bye.
Now it's just us.
What's going on?
Wow.
It's like somebody's 15 minutes away or whatever.
Yeah, it's like somebody's visiting and they didn't tell.
Like visiting in the middle of the night, apparently. But no, it's
Echo, yeah. So they call them echoes or whatever, but like your clones will like learn things depending on what you do. So there's some stuff like there's water, and if you walk in water, like they'll learn to walk in water. So one thing you can do is like never walk in water, and then they won't ever walk in water.
or at least not while it's light or whatever.
Yeah. And then they can also unlearn things too. So like, there's only so many things they can actually learn. I think it's like 6 or something. So it's like if there's something you stop doing, then they won't do it again. So eventually, like if you walk in water, they learn to walk in water. If you stop walking in water after like 3 or so, when the lights go out and come back up, then like they'll stop walking in water again.
Because I have like a very low memory cache that gets reset.
Oh yeah, I mean there's like plot reasons for that, but so yeah, and stuff like if you shoot at them, then like they'll learn to shoot at you. So then you have to like try to like, all right, I'm not gonna use my gun. You can also like sneak up on them and like like just like choke them out, and then like they'll learn that too. So like, but I know like it's only been like at an accidental, because like they'll show you like you have like a sphere and it'll show you like where everybody's at. So it's really hard for them to sneak up on you and choke you out, but like sometimes it will happen if you get like 8 of them surrounding you and you hit your back to one of them. But and you pick up globes and you can smash globes on their head, and like they'll learn to do that too. Or there's like, or you can have them do bad things. There's a grapes you can eat and they give you more stamina to run, and then there's like these other things you eat and they like hurt your stamina. So if you like teach them to eat the bad thing, then they'll start eating it, then they'll have less stamina, and then you can run faster than them. And there was kind of a cool thing that I felt like it was a missed opportunity, because there's a part later on where like there's like a second enemy. It's not just yourself, and they don't learn anything from you. Like they're just fully like able to do everything. And keep in mind, this also involves like opening doors is a thing they can learn and unlearn. Hopping over ledges is a thing they can learn and unlearn. Using elevators is a thing they can learn and unlearn.
Sounds like a lot of random sets of skills that you probably should know.
Yeah. But like, so like at that point where these new enemies showed up, like it takes a while to like shoot. Like you can, if you have enough energy, it takes like 6 shots it takes like 3 shots to take them down. There's things you can find to get more energy, but I only had like 6 pips of energy. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna shoot at this thing, and then I'll teach them to shoot at this thing. I was like, that would be cool, but then it didn't really happen. I was like, oh, that's a bummer. Because I started like doing all the things I would never do. It was like I started running. It's like, I'll teach them to run. I started shooting. I'm teaching them to shoot. Like all these things to tactically advantage, so they'll take care of this enemy for me. They didn't do it. Because those things don't really not only try to kill you, they kill all your clones too. So I figured like I'm teaching them to defend themselves, but that didn't really like work out the way I planned.
Yeah, it's weird that the clones have like a no attack order on that enemy, but the other enemy can just wipe out everything that looks like you. Which makes sense, but at the same time, yeah.
Yeah, it gets a little long in the tooth, and then it ends all weird, but that's how you expect it to end. That's what it makes. You get to the end, and you kind of like, I want to know more about this universe because it's daunting, and they generally they give you enough like nuggets to try to latch on to. It's like, what the fuck is this universe? But you still don't know at the end. So I had to watch a bunch of YouTube videos, have them try to explain it to me. I was like, I guess that's what's going on.
Yeah, I was watching a YouTube video where I came over here about things to expect at E3, and one of them was Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Because apparently they'll finally reveal more about that and might actually be getting closer to completing it at some point in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think they've been working on that game for 2 years.
No, like 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, was it in co-production with Witcher 3?
I don't think so, but at the same time, it's
Because I don't know how
they've
many...
had the first reveal thing like 5 years ago now.
Oh, okay. Because I'm not
And
not
that
sure.
was just like the tech, like like a showy demo video
Yeah.
where it was just the. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, same CD Projekt Red, and then the same thing at the end of the trailer. It's like, it's done when it's done. It's like, which I like about that company, but at the same time, obviously, means it's not going to be out in like a year or two. It's going to take a lot of time.
I mean, I kind of imagine it taking about as long as it took to make Witcher 3, because Witcher 3 is a huge game, and
Maybe it's a new engine or something. Cause
it's maybe, I don't know, because I think Witcher 3 only came out like 4 years after Witcher 2.
Yeah, it's been 5 years now, and if they're gonna tease anything else, yeah, there might actually be games.
Well, I really look at it like, when's the last time they put out Witcher 3, which, because I think like, you can put the idea out there, but it doesn't mean like the whole team's on it, because like there's some teams, because like some companies they'll have like kind of the scouting team.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the game we want to work on next, but like it has like 10 people, it doesn't have like 100 people studio on it yet. So like there's some teams like that, and then like once Witcher 3's done, because they're still putting out kind of downloadable content and stuff, then they'll switch over to that stuff. But also they run GOG, so that's why they're able to be independent, because of GOG, because they do all that DRM free stuff. I think they put out like I think they did like the best version right now I think you can get of one of the like X-Wing versus TIE Fighter game, which I've always heard was good, or one of those is good. I think the TIE Fighter game is good. I'm not sure about the Versus game.
I think TIE Fighter pilot's supposed to be good, but I think the Versus one is supposed to be too, but
one of them sucks, and I don't know which one it is. I want to say there's one called like Alliance, and that's the one that sucks.
maybe.
I didn't play any of those.
I never got into PC gaming, especially recent, where you could actually play the games that came out on PC gaming until like recently, so I don't know.
It's hard to go back to those fucking games. They're fucking... Those are the games where they didn't have like auto saves, and like you would lose hours of progress because you forgot to save.
Oh.
That's why they made quick save buttons. Because they didn't have auto save. You just fucking forgot to save.
Yeah, I'm always weirded out about that, because today I was playing Far Cry 5 for a little bit in the afternoon after I got done doing all my chores and shit. And just like every time I go into the pause menu, like not seeing the save thing is weird. Just because it just fucking... I don't like where it saves sometimes, but I get that it saves where it does, so I don't know. It's like I recently entered the Bliss area for Far Cry 5, so it's like always weirds me the fuck out when I shoot a bear and it turns into a fucking Wolverine.
Yeah.
Or I shoot a deer and it turns into a giant fucking bison. It's like, well, okay, I guess we're gonna keep shooting this thing until it's dead. And fucking... Like, I like that part of it because it actually, makes it seem cool, but at the same time, I'm explaining it to my wife, and she's like, it's like, what the fuck? Because it's like just huge pallets, like the fucking bliss weed or whatever. That's fucking sitting in this one house, and she's like, is that weed? I'm like, no, it's like this fucking thing that makes people like fucking hallucinate and do shit they're not supposed to do and be easily controllable and shit. And she was like, well, kind of like weed. Like, not the hallucination part, but like the easily suggestible probably. Like, I don't. So I mean, it's.
How you liking it so far?
I really wish they wouldn't have went the way they with the whole fucking like just yank you out of what the fuck ever you're doing. If you reach a certain level of like you've done enough stuff to get to this level of confronting the warden of that sector bullshit, because you can never get away from it.
Oh,
like I
yeah,
was
yeah.
flying a fucking helicopter and it like rips me out of the helicopter and puts me in a thing where I have to kill somebody that I've never really talked to, and it's supposed to be this deep meaningful moment. And it's like, if you guys want me to feel something for these characters you have me randomly kill or betray, I might actually want to spend some time with them instead of just like, you killed Kevin. Like, why'd you do that? I'm like, I fucking can't remember who the fuck Kevin is or what he does. But apparently it's a huge thing.
What area did you start in? You started with the army guy with the wolves and shit?
Yeah, I started with the army guy, but some reason, like, literally just for free play, went right to the Baptist area and finished that first.
Okay.
And then after that, like, I apparently did enough before I went to the Baptist area that I did a couple little tiny things, like liberated one more outpost and, like, killed a truck. And then it triggered the final confrontation with the army guy, and it was like, okay. And it's like, I was kind of working on Bliss's area, but that's fine, whatever. And so it's just like, I wish they would have done it differently, because I think the villains are actually halfway decent this time. It's just that it's...
Wait, you didn't like them before?
Well, it was...
I thought that was the thing about 3 and 4 is like these kind of charming psychopaths. But
Yes,
here I'd
but-
say they're less charming psychopaths.
But 3, the guy dies before the halfway point, and then it's just you exploring. And then 4, I never played more than like a quarter of the game because I just never did, so I don't know what his payoff was. I've heard he's better than 3, but not like a long.
He's just funner.
Villain. Like the choice you have to make between the resistance leaders at the end is more of a villain thing than he is.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, okay, you kill all these people because it doesn't back the one person, or you kill all these other people that don't back the other person. So it's, I mean, it's, I like if they would rather just, instead of having the whole map's Fog of War, but at the same time, if it would just lock you in an area until you got done with it, and then you could progress in stages. I know it's old school and it's been done before to death probably, but giving you free reign, and like when you all of a sudden like take it away for no fucking reason out of the blue, and then you get popped back somewhere else into a story that you totally forgot or didn't care about, that is not good storytelling.
Yeah.
That is horrible fucking storytelling.
They probably need... Some games do it well where they like give you update. I remember like Witcher 3 did this pretty well, where it's like if you came back to the game, you got like miniature cutscenes about like what you were last doing, so you know what you're doing next.
Yeah, that at least lets you know what the fuck's going on
Yeah.
in the world. Because between all the fucking side quests and prepper stashes and all those hunts and
Those were
everything else.
cool. I like those.
Yeah, I like the prepper stashes, and I like some of the puzzle-solving elements in the missions, like the water pump station and shit. But at the same time, it's like, you just expect me to be involved and care. Yeah, some of these things are, like the whole fucking indoctrinating the soldier guy indoctrinating you to kill your friends. Like, that's actually kind of a cool fucking gimmick where he runs like a trial, like arcade game, and it's like, haha, you did good this time, and then it's like it works up to for real at the end or whatever, and it's like, I like that, but at the same time I think it'd have been way more engaging if you actually had to. It seemed like there was an underrunning theme to the whole thing.
They
like
should have had more character development with the guy you eventually kill.
Yeah,
Because yeah, like when I killed him, it was like, oh, I accidentally killed the resistant leader. One of them.
yeah, I know. It's just that's
I did not care for that kind of like repetition thing until it ended. Because like every time they bring you back there, you run the same stage, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And like you get through it, and it's like, okay, and then you do it again, and then you just like start running through it, like just going through memories. Like, all right, let's get this boring shit over real quickly, and that's when you get to the final one, and it's like, yeah, let's get this over as quickly as possible. You shoot the guy, it's like, oh fuck, I shot the guy. And that was like kind of affecting. It's like, I kind of wish I knew this was coming because I didn't give a shit the first 3 times I did this shit.
I know, and I think that hurts the fucking gameplay, because there's a lot of cool shit in that game as far as like people interact with and stuff they'll see in that world.
Yeah, I
But
think I think it does a lot better at what of distributing missions, because it's kind of like as you get done with one mission, you can kind of like go on to another mission like really easily. Which in the other Far Cry games, you basically had to like get in a truck or get in a helicopter or do some sort of fast travel, and you just like the loading times or this time spent going from place to place. It's like kind of a bummer. Whereas here they make once you get that upgrade where you you can just like paraglide into any outpost. And, like that makes like going places way easier and fun.
Yeah, I haven't bought that perk yet because I've been more or less stocking up on health and guns
Yeah.
and other shit that I've been.
Yeah, you always want more guns.
I know I took down that soldier guy with just basically weapons I found on the ground because I was just like, oh, I already fucking killed this guy, so I'll just go into his bunker with like an SMG and fucking like a couple pistol rounds. I'm like, oh, it's not gonna be like the Baptist one where it's like you fight through the whole entire bunker and then you try and kill the guy. So I was like, it can't be that hard. I already did the up the mountaintop kill them thing. So I was like, oh, fuck it, I don't need to go get more ammo or go change guns or whatever. It was like, that made it infinitely harder because it's like just fucking no ammo and no... I wish there was more... I mean, they don't really give you like all the fucking ammo, but it's really easy to get more ammo in that
Yeah,
game.
like there's only like 3 types of ammo.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got... It's like... It seems like every pistol ammo is all the same, even though it's different. You just pick up pistol ammo, like, randomly. Then you have, like... Then you kind of have, like, rifle and submachine gun ammo. That's different. And then you have, like, sniper rifle ammo. And then you have shotgun ammo and then, like, explosives.
Yeah, it is.
Although, there are, they've added some new weapons in where now there's, like, a shovel rocket launcher gun where you can just launch a shovel into it.
Yeah, I've seen that, but I haven't bought it because money is really seems to be really hard to come by in that game.
Really?
Well, I don't amass it quick enough to buy more than like one thing every couple hours. Because I've recently finally unlocked like double loot from like animal kills and shit. So that'll help double my money output, but I've more or less been trying to, all the prepper stashes I've learned about, I've been trying to go to because I just had a helicopter, I keep popping into them. But it pissed me off because I got 4 in a row and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm finally clearing some good cash, looting every body I see, just really going for every fucking dollar I can get. And then the last stash, like the radon mine I went to, like they park a goddamn truck full of explosives next to my fucking helicopter and it blows up everything. I'm like, I still had 5 fucking prepper stashes to get to, you sons of bitches. And it was just like, helicopters make it a lot easier. I've only bought like a couple cars. I bought in like half the guns and bought in a couple things of clothes. And I don't really give a shit because
No, you can't even see your characters.
like they've fucked up half. I don't know if they actually programmed a lot of the cutscenes to include if you could be a man or a woman. Because half the time it's like, I'm glad you're here, man. Or just like fucking referring to you as just a man most of the time. And it's like, I'm an Asian woman, I don't know. Or just like the first...
You got it, girl.
One of the first Bliss cutscenes, I had like giant white hands. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm not a white dude. Like, this is fucking stupid. It's like, is this a glitch or do they just not fucking give a shit?
Bro, there's a lot of glitches in that game.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I told you that one where I got out of a truck and like when you get out of a truck, your character like automatically closes the door.
Yeah.
And it's like, for some reason, the door had weight and momentum, but then the truck no longer had weight and momentum. So as soon as it closed the door, it just flew off into the fucking forest.
I haven't had that, but I've had a lot of glitches with fucking wingsuits and parachutes and shit.
Oh, then like not opening.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also, like, the radon mine, that prepper stash, like, at the end of it, to get to the generator, you have to jump, like, what looks like a big gap because you're high on bliss because it's just fucking bliss everywhere. If you jump the wrong way, your parachute will open, and then you will go into what looks like water, and you will drown, but you can't do anything because you keep being prompted to open your parachute, and then you will fall off the edge of the map and die. And it was like, what the fuck is this? I thought it was a glitch, and it was like, I think that's just fucking dying because you're high. Like, I don't fucking know what the hell that was. That and a lot of the animal, or at least the wild animals, like, distract the bull to keep it, like, at a certain viewpoint half
the
the time.
bulls like are they attracted to bait at all?
I don't think so. It's not
Okay.
carnivores, like,
Okay.
cougars and wolves and shit. But at the same time, there was this fucking trailer I clicked on trying to waste time, so because my wife was going to get her fucking haircuts from her friend or whatever, like around the same time I was leaving for the podcast. But fucking, there's this Keanu Reeves movie called like Destination Wedding. It has like Winona Ryder in it. His like is his romantic opposite or some shit. But like the only good part of the trailer is like literally they're walking up the hill, what looks like wine country, and there's like this fucking mountain lion in the path, like 50 feet away from them. And then all of a sudden, like Keanu Reeves is like, "Is that a fucking mountain lion?" And then Winona Ryder is like, "No, I think it's a jaguar." And then she's like, "Or is it a cougar?" It's like, what the fuck does it matter? It's like, exactly, what the fuck does it matter? Like, it's like literally the best writing I've seen in this trailer so far, because everything else looked like shit. But
When's it coming out? August?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where they put shit movies. That's where, August is where Hollywood puts movies that they put too much money in and they can't release them in January, but they might accidentally make money in August.
Yeah, speaking
So August can usually August movies that come out. It's like they have, well, I guess in this case, terrible trailers. I remember a lot of movies like had August movies that like they had great trailers and they just end up being shit movies. That was like Elysium was an August movie. I remember like American Ultra was a August movie, which I end up thinking was an okay movie. I don't think it deserved the hate it got, but also I didn't know why it gets hate.
It was just disappointing for me.
I think I just think the ending's terrible. It's like, yeah, now he's a superhero. I was like, that just completely defeats the purpose of the entire movie. I mean, yeah, he spends the whole time being a superhero, but ultimately it's supposed to be like he's trying to not be a killer, and that was the whole point of the fucking thing.
Eh.
And then he's just James Bond at the end. It's like, that's stupid. But I like a lot of the characters. Like Walter Goggins is like unexpected, but everything he does is pretty much good. So, Topher Grace was a good little shit that deserved to die.
No, I mean, it has good characters in it and shit. It's just something where it's like, Topher Grace kind of deserves being, or like he actually liked his character a lot in the Predator movie.
Yeah.
And then he's had like decent outings. Like I like what's the fucking movie? It's an 80s fucking movie comedy, like Take Me Home Tonight.
Oh yeah.
Like I like that fucking movie a lot. Like I think he's a good actor. It's just like he doesn't really show up in a lot of movies, and I felt that was kind of a missed opportunity for him.
Yeah.
Like he seems like he has some range.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he did like That 70s Show, and like he showed up in Traffic, and that was a good role. He's kind of just done like a lot of weird stuff since, but I don't know. Speaking of Predator, have you seen the new trailer?
Yeah, it looks actually pretty fucking good.
Really? Okay, because everyone's saying it looks shit, and I'm like, it looks like it's not done yet, so I'm waiting to, because I just trust that fucking what's his name? Something Black. Can't remember his name. The guy.
Shane Black.
Yeah, Shane Black. So he's writing and directing this movie.
Yeah, and he's the one that did the first.
No, he wrote the Lethal Weapon movies. He did like The Nice Guys. He did Iron Man 3. But he was actually an actor in the first Predator movie.
That's it. Because I was like, I thought he was involved with the first.
Yeah,
Predator
he
movie.
was like the nerdy guy with the MP5. And the reason he was in that role is that John McTiernan wanted a writer on set, but they wouldn't let him have a writer on set, so he hired a writer to be an actor on set. Because like the movie was basically like not finished written like the entire time they were working on it, so he wanted some guy who's like, all right, we're gonna feed you lines. Which is probably why that movie has so many like stupid and memorable one-liners and stuff like that.
No, I mean I like the first part of the trailer because like fucking the kid gets out like whatever the fuck that alien device is, it acts like a spaceship, and then it looks like it's like you're gonna make that fucking spaceship crash into Earth because it's like a remote control pilot. That's what I was expecting. It didn't really go that way, but at the same time, like it actually looked like it might be like a good like ensemble. Let's try and kill an alien creature type of like movie.
Well, also, there's also like hinting at like something that the Predators are trying to make hybrid versions of like all the people they hunt. That's a weird new twist, I guess, but like. I don't engage in the Predator fiction. I just think they're basically Klingons who can't speak English.
That have giant pulse cannons on their shoulder blades and see in thermal vision.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, it's pretty much all like the creature design is all fucking. Like,
Predators, the most awesome cowards in the universe.
Oh, baby. I've read like.
I'm gonna be invisible and shoot you with a cannon.
I've read half the. I mean, to me, since I play a lot of 40K, it's almost like they're fucking Space Marines. Not because that's the way they look, but it's their tactics. Like they're always outnumbered, and they always have to use some type of tactic to try and defeat their enemy that has more numbers than them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if it's just a predator walked into the fucking middle of the street and faced like 100 humans, that fucking predator would die. But if it's invisible, it'll probably kill like at least half of them before anybody catches on. Then it might still die.
I always like kind of attribute them with like sort of like, I don't know. I'm saying Mayan, even though I know nothing about Mayan culture, but it's kind of like some sort of like trial. Like they're just supposed to go out like alone and try to survive in some sort of a environment, and then like try to kill the strongest people they see and use them as trophies.
Yeah,
and then Danny Glover fucking fucks him up.
No, it's just from all the books I read for them, like the paperbacks and shit like that. Like, yeah, they're very much like versus the hunting culture. We just want to show off the best trophies and the strongest or best creatures we can kill and shit like that. I think that was pretty well. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they're acting like that Predator movie that came out like what 6-7 years ago now.
But Predators?
Yeah, didn't happen, or just it's gonna be
Well,
a standalone thing.
I mean, that's a standalone because like that movie takes place on a different planet. You're not even like aware of what time period it is.
Yeah.
Other than like it's vaguely like during maybe the Iraq War, or maybe
Slightly after.
Adrian Brody's just some weird mercenary guy with an automatic shotgun.
But like that movie was actually pretty well cast and acted, and actually was engaging the whole way through.
Yeah, I thought that was good up until like the Lawrence Fishburne part. Then it kind of like falls apart there, but I really liked it up until that point. And I didn't hate it after that point. I just thought Lawrence Fishburne's character is like kind of weird and unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, to a point, but at the same time, it's the whole movie's leading up to the point where there's like they're trying to figure out who's hunting them and how they can game the system and kill it.
Yeah.
Because it seems like somebody that can just lay traps for them and not be seen. So that's kind of their explanation that they have to act like them in order to, basically win. So that's a good plot point and device, but at the same time, yeah.
Well, they need somebody to explain what the fuck's going on, because it's not like they're going to capture a predator and they're going to explain, because you can't even they can't even communicate with each other.
That was this pre-recorded dialogue where it's like, hell.
Over here.
This is like, I've seen that episode. Or I don't think you're that, because you just started season 5, so you're not that deep into it yet. But Gina fucking makes a soundboard for like all of Captain Holt's responses or anything, so they could just use it to like answer phone calls. Like, this is Captain Holt. Get down, and like get down, and so there's like at one point of the fucking like they try and get kind of serious like towards the end of the season. I don't know, that's because they know like they might not have the chance to, or it's like Rosa's involved in like an active shooter situation and everybody's worried about her, and everybody's kind of trapped at the station because they can't actually go because the scene's like completely full. They don't need any more cops, and so Jake like fucking has enough of it, so he like goes down to the armory. And it's like, okay, Boyle, you stand up here, and Hitchcock and Scully, you distract him just distract the captain. Just make him get out of his office so Boyle can answer the phone, and use Gina's soundboard to, fake authorization for the long rifle and the body armor and all that shit. And so, like, Hitchcock and Scully just stand up and, like, what the fuck do we do? How the fuck do we make a distraction? And then they just start hitting each other in the balls as hard as they can, going down to the ground in fetal position, just keep hitting each other in the balls. And then the captain comes out and is like, what's going on? Well, Hitchcock hit me in the balls, so I hit him in the balls. Well, I know, but why? And then he just punches in the fucking balls again. And they just keep going. And then Boyle gets the fucking phone call, and it's the armory captain, and he's like, I got Peralta down here looking for a long gun and body armor. Is that okay? Yes. And then it's like he just expects to be able to hang up the phone. And then it's like, hey, you still coming to my daughter's christening this weekend? No. Fuck that lame shit. And then he just keeps typing that again and again. And then the guy's like, I thought you were pretty into it, but okay. And then hangs up the phone. And that's how they get found out, because Captain Holt comes downstairs like, well, apparently I'm not into watching my own goddaughter getting christened or whatever. It's just like that fucking show. Like, I can't believe they wanted to fucking I know why they wanted to cancel it, but it's like...
Well, it's just low ratings, right? Or what?
Well, that's the thing. I've been reading articles
almost Parks and Rec vibe, which I never got from any of the advertising.
Huh.
Or it's more like, hey, these people at work that like are really just like a family who spend like these people spend way too much time together. Although one thing I'm kind of bummed about is that they used to kind of do. I mean, well, it kind of sounds like some of they bring it back a little bit, but they used to do like humor where it's like where Peralta would do something where he's like trying to do like a cool moment from like a movie.
Yeah, like Die Hard mostly. Yeah.
And then Captain Holt would just be like, it's like, no, you can't do that. That's not how it comes. Because it's not like it's like ask me to turn in my gun and a badge. It's like, I will not. You will have to turn your badges into holding, and you will sign a sheet, form 22B, and then they will have it. So then it's like this is actually what would happen. It's like you just throw your gun and a badge at a fucking desk and walk away. It's like, no, somebody has to see the gun, take the gun, you sign a form, they sign a form, and then we know where the fucking gun is.
It's not just like you handle it, fucker. Like, that's no. I mean, even like I thought that's. Do you remember 3 Billboards, like Sam Rockwell, like where the guy even like just asked for his badge and gun? I'm like, well, okay, I haven't seen that for a while. But then they make it a joke where it's like, oh yeah, I guess I don't know where my badge is. Like I'll get it to you later. Okay. I mean, but fuck.
But there's like later seasons where like it's where they go into witness protection.
No.
And then like they have to like, no, we need the 9-9 down here, and it's like, and like an entire fucking detective agent, or the entire fucking detective crew from a precinct goes down to Florida from New York in one day.
Yeah, not happening.
With weapons to assault a crime lord in Florida where they have no jurisdiction, and just walk out of there like nothing happened. Which I get it. Granted, like that, it's more played for the humor, but I like when they bring it back to reality. And even though I know nothing about police procedure, I like when they kind of bring those things up. Where it's like, oh yeah, this isn't what actually police do. That's kind of a TV or film thing that we just play with.
I like how every time I see anything about Florida and any programming, whether it be like Last Week Tonight or Brooklyn Nine-Nine or Comedians. Like, I wonder is Florida okay with the whole everybody thinks Florida's a trash heap joke? I mean, it's like, it just seems like everybody knocks on Florida pretty hard for being like the cesspool of humanity.